the funny thing is, speaking of gaming, is that one of the most challenging things for me was getting into shmups, because a lot of my sort of natural skills don't lend to shmups all that well. I think they're much more of a visually spatial memory intensive genre, and that's not something I'm particularly gifted at. So I think that was a pretty interesting experience, trying to like dissect how the genre works backwards, because one thing I've noticed over the years is that some people just get the genre like that. It's so intuitive to them. It's so natural to them. And it's pretty clear, those types of people, because they just show up, they start playing the genre. The next thing you know, 5 months later, they're challenging world record scores and stuff. And I have some interviews on my channel where I'm like trying to understand how are they accomplishing it. And they're like, I don't know. It just makes sense. You know what I mean? So
do you think that when someone comes along like that and it just makes sense, is it, is it that they have that memorization, that visual memorization, or is there some other more indelible that just makes sense quality to them?
I think this is my theory, obviously, but I think it has to do with spatial intelligence. A lot of it has to do with spatial intelligence, because the hallmarks of a super player, I'm actually making a video about this, isn't just like they have quick reflexes and stuff, because I actually have really quick reflexes. But that doesn't make me a super player. It's also the ability to understand the underlying visual concepts of the game, like understanding how if you interact with this area of the screen, how it will affect the next area of the screen like 5 seconds later, and being able to sort of visualize the patterns, visualize what will happen on screen before it actually happens with accuracy. Because what's cool about shmups and why I love the genre so much, it isn't just like, oh, do you get the concept? It will actually measure how accurately can you predict, down to the pixel, where this bullet will appear, where this pattern will appear, where it will shift. I think that is where a lot of these players are really gifted in that areas. They can map that mental picture in their mind much more tangibly than this is a skill that I've worked on over the years, and I think this is what's helped me get better at the genres. Being able to visualize what will occur before it actually does it, like in specific detail. I think that's probably one of the strongest skills for being like naturally good at the genre.
When you've worked on that skill, because I was reading your article about skill and talent in shmups, and that it was a little bit like a taboo thing, pardon me, to say like, oh, they're skilled, they've just got it, No, it's talent. Sorry, they work to do that. But okay, so let's say you've said that the visual acuity here, the visual part is not your strong suite. Although,
absolutely
look, I might say you've got some aptitude in the area. The audio
definitely.
thing, at least, there's something there at least. But okay, I hear where you're coming from. Cool. When you are learning this, is it when you are practicing, are you consciously thinking about the way you're putting the next things together, like what you were just speaking about? Okay.
Yes, and I think that's how I got better at the genre, because at first I wasn't able to do it. Like my brain could not figure out exactly how to fire that mechanism in my head. But yes, actually, when I am playing really well, I am consciously thinking stuff like, okay, if I move here, this is going to cause the pattern in 3 seconds to shift slightly to the left. When it shifts slightly to the left, I will then move here, and this will cause the next pattern to move slightly to the right. And you can build that mental picture in your head before it occurs. And so when you watch people play, it looks incredible. They're like, holy crap, how are they doing this on screen? It's because they're able to, in vivid detail, predict what exactly will happen. What makes shmups really good, like why cave shmups are specifically my favorites, is because Cave knows this, and so they always add in a lot of the patterns just this tiny variation, this tiny thing. So there's always this little X factor where you can kind of understand what you need to do, but Cave will always add in just this little randomness to it so that you have to adjust a bit on the fly too. You can't just by memory go through. You have to understand the underlying patterns, and then you also have to react to some degree because the patterns will shift a little bit just randomly. So